Hey YouTube land, welcome to another action figure review by Tycranders. Now if I'm getting this up on time, Merry Christmas. It should be Christmas 2022 by the time I'm updating or uploading this video. It may even be Stephen's Day, so if it is Stephen's Day, happy belated Christmas for those that celebrate it. So today I'm having a quick look at one of the Boss Fight Studios Heroes Hacks, or highly articulated character kit system. And this is for the Flash Gordon figure. Now I've done reviews. I've done a review for Ming before. I'm not entirely sure if I can remember if I did the review for Phantom. I have the Phantom figure. Well, I can't remember if I did a review for it. So if I did, I'll throw a link in the description below for the other figures from this wave. If not, I'll have to do a review for Phantom and put links in for that. So this is from the Boss Fight Studios. They're most notably known for the Vitruvian Hacks figures, which are the kind of more fantasy-based, medieval style-based figures. They did branch out and do a couple of interesting kind of sublines. These Hero, or the King Adventures, King Comics Adventures is one of them, which is Flash Gordon. So on the back of the packaging, you have a write-up for Flash himself. Just center that a bit. So it says, a world-class athlete in a variety of sports as well as an accomplished pilot, Flash's life of adventure began when he and his companions traveled to the planet Mongo. That world was close to devastation colliding with Earth. Flash and the others aimed to find a means of averting the coming disaster. Upon arrival, they found Mongo to be a fantastic place, populated by innumerable exotic creatures and divided into numerous kingdoms. These kingdoms were ruled by princes and queens, all of whom competed and warred against each other, while paying homage to the vile Ming the Merciless. Once he acclimatized to Mongo, Flash set about countering Ming at every turn, defeating numerous plots by the villainous emperor, and eventually gathering enough support to overthrow him. With Ming defeated and Mongo ruled by a council of those who'd rose up against his rule, Flash traveled to other worlds in his ongoing quest for adventure and desire to protect the innocent from the evils that lurk in the unexplored regions of space. So the two figures that they show here are the Flash Gordon figure, which I'm going to have a look at, and the Ming the Merciless figure, which as I said, I have done a review for. I have them here just so I can do a size comparison when I get around to it. But that is pretty much for the box. One thing I will say about the box as well, it has a thing for just putting it on a hanger. I'm not sure if you can see that, but you can flip it out. If it's folded over when you get it, but you can flip it out, so there is a hanger for putting it up if you don't want to open it. The other good thing about these boxes is they're collector friendly, in the sense that you can open the one tab at the side. It doesn't matter which one, usually it's just one of these, and you can slide the whole card back out, and then you can put take the figure out and put the figure or the card back in, so you don't kind of damage the box or anything like that. So it is kind of collector friendly in that respect. So onto the figure himself. The figure himself is pretty plain, but he does have some cool accessories, which I will get into in a moment. So we'll have a look at the accessories first. So he comes with a silver pistol. Now this is exactly the same pistol that Ming came with, but Ming's one is done in gold, whereas Flash's is silver. The sword is pretty much the same one that Ming has. In fact, I have Ming's one here, if I can get it out of its holster. Again, difference being the deco. The blade on Flash's one seems to be a little bit of a brighter silver, whereas Ming's is a bit more darker. The handle for Flash's is black, whereas Ming's has the gold handle. They do seem to share parts in respect to the bodies, and some of the parts are kind of shared. For the most part, it's like the waist seems to be shared, and the legs, the upper legs are shared, but the lower legs are different. He also comes with two punching fists, a left and right, which I'm not sure if you can see them there. They're very, very small and tiny, but you have two punchy fists. You have a base which has hero hacks on it. I do find it funny that Ming's one also says hero hacks, even though he's a villain. He's anything but a hero. But the cool thing about Flash here is he has weapon storage for both his weapons. So his pistol has a pistol holster that neatly holds his pistol, and then he has a small kind of, it's not a full scabbard, it's just like a holster or sheath for the sword. So it's only like for holding it from the hilt. It doesn't cover the whole sword up. That's the way it's designed to be. But the Flash figure himself is quite nicely detailed. He has a kind of more iconic headpiece that the Flash comic book version of Flash is more known for. Now, I grew up with Flash Gordon as well, but the version I grew up with was the Defenders of the Earth version from the 80s cartoon. So more so, he didn't have this headpiece, and he had like a kind of bodysuit. He wouldn't have this kind of swashbuckling pirate style belt that they have, because Flash was originally designed, I think, during the 1930s. I could be wrong. He predates a lot of kind of the standard heroes kind of thing. So he does have like a very classic science fiction vibe going to him. Like, he has a ray gun as opposed to laser gun. His sword, in some depictions, he has like his sword has like a yellow glowing blade to it, whereas this version has a normal blade. He does have some paint deco on him, and the legs, he has this yellow stripe going down the side. He has these sculpted on, I'm not sure what these are, they're like baubles. They are present on the NECA figures, on the NECA bigger figure version of them. See if we can get them in there in focus. Bear with me a moment, just move some stuff out of the way. Might make it easier for me to get focus on him. So he is quite nicely detailed. He does have a peg hole on the back. That's if you have some of the Rejuven-Hacks accessories, some of them should be able to fit him. His articulation is as follows. So his arms can swivel all the way around. They have a hinge, so they go out that much. They have a single joint elbow with a good 90-degree bend and rotate. His wrists rotate around, and they have a hinge swivel. So for the pistol grip hands, his hinges go up and down. I think, is it the same for the fists? So the fist hands are the vertical. Sorry, the horizontal hinge. The grip hands are the horizontal. So it's up and down for the grips and in and out for the other ones. He does hold his pistol quite nicely. It is very tight in his little holster, so just be wary of that when you get it, or if you get one. But he does hold it quite nicely in his hand. Same with his sword hand. His sword hand is more designed for the sword than the pistol grip hand, even though it has a pistol grip on it, so you can put it into either hand. But I think once you put the pistol into the off hand, it kind of stretches it a bit. I know I'm having a bit of trouble trying to get his sword into his hand there. If I just open up his fingers a bit, get a better grip on it, so you can put the sword into that hand, and vice versa. In fact, it'd probably be easier with the other hand being a little bit more open. Yeah, so you can put sword and pistol into either hand, whichever one you want. Just be wary that the handle for the pistol is a little bit wider than the sword, so that when you do put it in, if you have one set for one weapon, the pistol one will kind of stretch it out a bit. He has an upper diaphragm. He does have a waist swivel, which isn't attached to the diaphragm. It's hidden behind the waist belt, so it is a separate piece. He can kick forward, kick back not too much. He has dual jointed knees, so he can pretty much kick all the way behind him. He does have a ankle articulation. Does have the two peg holes on the bottom for the base. The base actually has multiple pegs on it, so depending where you want to put them on the base. And the one thing about the pegs on the base is there are slightly different sizes, I think. Let me just get him standing there for a second. So it looks like there's different lengths on some of the pegs. At least this one is a lot longer than the other pegs. So there's some different pegs on them, and it should just fit straight onto one of those if I just get onto it. Which I've never actually used the base, so these feet are probably not. Yeah, yeah, they're not kind of pushed for connecting into his base. Let's see if we can get one in without snapping into the base. Yeah, it's very tight actually. Let's try this one here. Yeah, you can just about do it. You'd have to squish it on. You'd probably have to heat up the feet a small bit, because I've never used the bases on these guys. They tend to stand quite nicely without it. The base, the peg holes on the base or the pegs on the base seem to be quite tight. But overall, oh, he also has a thigh swivel as well. But overall, he's quite nicely sculpted and detailed. So he does stand around 4 inches. So if I just bring him back there, bring in tape measure, you see his height. He does stand around the 4-inch mark. And as I said, I'll bring in Ming, so you can see Ming, his nemesis, beside him. And we'll bring in a couple of other figures in the 4-inch scale line. So we have one of the Eagle Force Returns Major Draconis figure. This is Owen Grady. He's more of a 3 1/4 inch, so he's a small bit smaller. We have one of the Crimson Trins from the G.I. Joe 25th line. He's missing his pauldron actually, just fallen off him. We have one of the newer style Predators. This is the Unmasked Jungle Hunter from Hiya Toys. And we'll bring in one of the Joy Toy Space Marines, which are actually in scale. Bring him in back here. I think he's one of the Infiltrators or the Incursors. Can't remember which ones. I'm going to just move his box out of the way. No Predator's probably going to fall. You can see the size of them. Do we have anyone from the galaxy far, far away that we can bring in for a size comparison? Oh, we have Obi-Wan. Wandering Jedi Obi-Wan. Or is it Jedi? Yeah, I think it's Wandering Jedi he's called. And then for something else that's slightly bigger. And I'm trying to remember if I did a review from yet. I don't think I've done a review for this guy. I must get around to doing it. Maybe I did do the review from, I can't remember. We have Kane, Robo Kane, from the Robocop 2 Hiya Toys line. So you can see a good scale variation. Sorry, get Ryo's feet out of the way. You can see a good variation of the scale on this guy. He's pretty cool. And I picked this guy up from Big Bad Toy Store. I think he's still available at the moment, so if you want to pick one up, you should be able to get him at the time of this recording. If not, you're going to have to go the route of good old eBay or some third-party marketplace. So there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed this quick video review for the Flash virtual, what do they call it again, Hero Hacks version of the Boss Fight Studio Flash Gordon. I know there's 3 other versions they did of Flash. There's Flash in his t-shirt that is a homage to the movie version, and I believe there is one other version of him as well that might be in a kind of a black and red tank top. So I think that's also movie designed. So there is 2 other versions of Flash out there, but this is the kind of more comic book based version. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video review, and as always, please feel free to like, comment and subscribe to my channel. Cheers, guys.